Lads, welcome back to Fusion YGO. Today we're doing a deck profile on my personal favorite deck. Let's go ahead and dive right in to, in my personal opinion, the best deck of all time. My favorite deck of all time. And that's going to be a mixture of the Zombie Boys, the Golden Lords, and of course, the crescendoing musical gods. Eldlich Orcust, let's get into it. We have updated this deck and it does some silly shenanigans, so let's go ahead and check out what silly shenanigans I've come up with this time. Starting off with 3 copies of Girsu, the Orcust Knight. This is one of your starter cards. We actually only run 7 starter cards in this deck, which we'll get to later. But Girsu lets you dump any, summons a token if it's alone, and kind of gets everything off to the races for the Orcust side of things. We're also running 2 copies of Orcust Nightmare, the only Orcust that's able to be activated in the damage step under Babel because of its effect. But it dumps 1, boosts attack points. It's your Foolish Burial inside of a deck full of Foolish Burials. Next up is our Monster Reborn, 2 copies of Symbol Skeleton. Skeleton is, like I said, it's Monster Reborn, it's really good. Then it's the only common of the Orcust archetype, which is 2 copies of Babel or World Wand. Being able to summon from the Banish Zone is really good. The other thing that's really cool about this is if you have 1 in hand and you're able to dump it off of Girsu, you get a free summon. Then we have 1 copy of the old Brass Bombard. This is necessary for part of the deck. I'll get to it when we get there. We are running 2 copies of Orchestrated Return. We want to be able to have the extra draw power to get into the Eldlich stuff for control factor. 1 copy of Babel. Turns all of our Orcust effects into quick effects. All our graveyard Orcust effects anyway. And then 2 copies of Orcust Crescendo. You will go through these. This deck is more mid-rangey than it was before. It's not full-on control, but it's mostly control. And this card's really powerful. And that's going to do it for the Orcust section. I'm able to get through this real quick because if you want more in-depth for Orcust, there's plenty of it on this channel. Let's go ahead and hit the Eldlich side. 2 copies of Eldlich, the Golden Lord. You could cut this to 1. I can see the reasoning behind 1. I like 2 just because it's a big boy and it gives answers to stuff. Being able to summon itself back from the graveyard, getting rid of some of your other tools and stuff. And it's a big body, which is really nice with a targeted send is really important. 3 copies of Cursed Eldland. This will search all of your Golden Land trap cards as well as Eldlich if need be. So if you have a couple of Eldlich, like if you have a double Cursed Eldland in hand, you can use the Cursed Eldland as a way to help board break and clear the board a little bit. So Cursed Eldland is really good for that. It does prevent you from attacking with anything that isn't a zombie. So you're gonna wanna get this off the board as quickly as possible if you're trying to go for game. 3 copies of Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine. This is the emergency teleport of Eldlich, and you can banish it to set a Golden Land spell or trap from your deck. But you only run 3, so you have to be smart about how you're using it. We're also running 3 copies of Conquistador. Conquistador is really powerful because it pops cards, but they do have to be face up. So being able to pick apart a board is very helpful in any deck, but in this deck it's especially helpful because you're not running a whole bunch of big boys. It's mostly little guys that are tearing the board apart. And we're running 2 Huaquero to be able to deal with cards in the graveyard to prevent your opponent from being able to play the game in an effective manner. That's going to do it for the Eldlich package. Lads, letting you know that we still have a giveaway going on for the entirety of this year. So, for every 1,000 subscribers, we are going to be doing a giveaway. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away a booster box, the most recent Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set. At 2,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a giveaway of the same thing, a booster box, but we're also going to be giving away a deck box or a playmat. We're going to add more things on top of it for every 1,000 subscribers subsequently. So, make sure you hit that subscribe button and enjoy the rest of your video. Next up, the other starter card. We have 1 copy of Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron's really good because it lets you get bad problematic cards out of your hand. It also is a 1 card Halki Fibrax, which becomes, this is a 1 card full Orcust combo. Always really nice. And we're running 3 copies of Tuning to help mitigate that. It lets you search it. So this gives you 7 copies of a starter card. And this is really nice. In the old version of Eldlich Orcust that I had on the channel, this was the most powerful card in the deck. And it still is. 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. It basically sets up whatever you want it to. 3 copies of Solemn Strike and 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. We do not want our opponent to be able to play the game. This stops our opponent from being able to play said game. That's all I have. Extra deck! So first up, we're running 2 copies of Galatea. It hurts me that I have to only run 2, but I only have so much space in this deck, so I want to make sure that I maximize it. Galatea is insane, incredibly powerful, recurs resources. It's probably one of the most important cards in the strategy. We're also playing Longirsu. This card just returns things to the deck. It's really powerful. I love Longirsu. 2 copies of Dingirsu. It doesn't send things. By the way, Longirsu sends to the graveyard, but I misspoke. I got ahead of myself because Dingirsu is in front of me. And Dingirsu non-targeting sends things to the graveyard forever, and it's one of my personal favorite boss monsters of all time. We're playing 1 copy of Link Karibo. This is part of the combo to get into Crystron Halqifibrax. It's also necessary for the 1-card Orcust combo with Girsu, so this card is very necessary. Halqifibrax summons out typically your Brass Bombard, which will get you into your full Orcust line. 1 IP Masquerena. Being able to summon Access Code Talker in the middle of your opponent's turn, really powerful. That's not the only thing it can make. You actually can use it to make the next card in our list, Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. Being able to make this during your opponent's turn with the Eldlich back row and the Orcust back row is really strong. And it's not often that it comes up, but when it does come up, the card just steals games. 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn. This card's crazy powerful, and you can link climb into it pretty efficiently. 1 copy of Access Code Talker. Being able to pop things is really good. Being able to banish material that you can shuffle back into your deck is really strong, and you have a bunch of ways you can make it. Stardust Dragon, it's here for the side deck. And then we're running 1 Constellar Pleiades, 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max, and 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut Lieb. So Lieb, so you can use this with 2 Eldliches to burn for 2,000 and then make this guy, which can clear boards. Constellar Pleiades, it's really good for bouncing cards, and you can use your trap monsters to make this. So if you use them during the end phase to clean up a board, you can make this clean up more board. Really nice. That's going to do it for the extra. Let's go ahead and jump into the side deck. In the side, we're running 3 copies of Evenly Matched. It's all trap cards. I'm going to spoil this right now. Evenly Matched is really good in this deck. It's good in almost every deck. It's just a good card. We're also running 2 copies of Paleozoic Dynamiscus. We're running 2 copies of Ice Dragon's Prison and 2 copies of Heavy Stormduster. All of these traps are basically here to help deal with problematic individual cards, and they're really powerful. The next 2 are just really good at protecting your board and maintaining your resource advantage. And that's going to be 3 copies of Summon Limit and 3 copies of Starlight Road. These win you games on their own. I don't have much to add to this except that Starlight Road comes in clutch a lot and Summon Limit steals games. And that is going to do it for today's deck profile on Eldlich Orcust. I absolutely adore this deck. I have so much fun with it. It is easily one of the most complicated decks I've ever built, but it's also super powerful and super fun. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure if you did that you leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And tell me what you think of the deck in the comment section down below. Until next time, lads, good fun, have luck.